Greg, have you been in the room? I said, no, why? I said, the children got a strange look on their face. And then almost when they got about 8 years old, they started doing it. My wife said, what do you think's wrong with them? I said, I don't know, it's probably something they picked up off your side of the family. You don't have to worry about it. They think I'm crazy. All right? Children will talk back to you, they'll run that whole game down, but if they think you're crazy, they'll walk around you. And when they don't, you know they're crazier than you. Like my oldest boy. I'm telling you, if my oldest daughter didn't have 2 doctor's degrees, she'd have been in a mental hospital. I mean, they'd be strange. And I ain't never cared that much about her. Now, no, a lot of parents like that. Some of y'all got some children y'all don't like, y'all won't say it. You just say, well, you know, Bruce got some strange ways. That means you don't like Bruce. And you mothers is good at that. Ain't no ugly baby. You mothers believe that? Shit. Find me an ugly adult, we'll trace that back to an ugly child. Yeah. I mean, that don't change. I say, why? She said, I know 10 million Chinese would love to have that bowl of oatmeal. And I was so dumb and ignorant, I ate it so the Chinese couldn't get it. Check this out. I tried it on my oldest daughter. I said, Michelle, I fixed that spinach salad for you. She says, Dad, I don't want no spinach tonight. I said, I fixed the spinach salad for you. Go in there and eat that bowl of spinach. I know 10 million Chinese would love to have that bowl of spinach. She said, name me 2. We came through that period when black folk didn't want to be black. Thank God we got out of that. And what we did with our children, if you had some money, you send them to the best schools. All my children went to the University of Chicago preschool. They're that big, and I'm paying $3,000. And then by the time they get 4 years old, they speak in foreign languages. My wife said, ooh, check out Michelle and Lynn. Michelle speaking French and Lynn speaking German. I said, baby, the dumbest Chinese in China is speaking Chinese. You cannot listen to a person speak a foreign language and determine. I can take you to China and people can't even read or write, can speak Chinese. Black folk will come by the house. She go sick my children on them. Go speak some German to them. I said, baby, you shouldn't do that. I mean, that woman don't know German. She don't know if them children is speaking German or not. Why don't you let them go talk German to Germans? Every time somebody come here, you want to sick these children on somebody and show them how smart they are. Well, one day, Leo got mad at Michelle about something and said something to her. Michelle spoke back to her in French. Upset my old lady so bad. I come home, she said, you need to go in and talk to your daughter. She my daughter now. I said, well, what happened? She said, I was trying to communicate with her, and she started talking to me in French. I said, well, baby, let me talk to you. She said, why? I said, well, you remember I told you when they was little bitty tots, you was trying to make them white? You know, and I guess I was too. I went along with it. But I told you to keep them in ghetto schools. They might get mugged every now and then, but at least we know what they talking about. She'll do you like that one day. And sure enough, about a week later, I asked her something. She and it upset my wife. She said, Greg, what you gonna do? I said, nothing. You serious? Why you worry about these children? Ain't none of them got no jobs. Everything in this house is ours. And don't you know how to lock stuff up? Y'all got some children, right? And you got little chores you want them to do, and you know how you can yell at a child to top you and they don't hear you? I mean, they don't even flinch. They don't even act like they heard you. No. Get you a good book and just sit down in front of the refrigerator. Trust me, they coming. And when they come there, they hear and get real good. Mother, can you move the chair? What? I'm trying to get in the refrigerator. Is the lawn mowed? Did you clean up your room? What do you mean? Just what I said. Did you paint it? Did you wash the car? And if you got more than one child, see, children ain't no food. They'll go spread the word. We can't get in the refrigerator. And look, when they get through, you won't even know your house. And that you can make a difference. And that you have to make a difference. So when y'all look at all that OJ Simpson mess, that ain't nothing but a game. Marsha Clark. Clark was her second husband. She divorced from him now. Y'all know that? Or do they give y'all any news of that? Marsha Clark. Prosecuting the OJ trial. The first dude she was married to, her first husband, he was a real fool. Lightweight pimp, little hustler. She got divorced from him. Then Clark, she married, is from the Church of Scientology. And the minister that married her to Clark is a minister in the Church of Scientology. Y'all follow me? One day the minister who married her and Clark took a gun and shot her first husband in the head, and as we sit here now, he's a vegetable. Who is handling the minister that shot her first husband? Shapiro. Now, is that conflict of interest? So what I'm saying, they ain't doing nothing but playing a game and giving y'all a show, and y'all dumb enough to sit around debating what you think gonna happen to OJ. Whatever happened to OJ, it already happened to OJ. That's a game they play. And so what I'm saying, y'all got to start listening to your inner voice, not NBC, CBS, ABC, the LA Times. You got to listen to that thing inside here. I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer. Boy, they got a mean joke about Jeffrey Dahmer. They say when Jeffrey Dahmer got killed in jail, they say they gave him an autopsy and found Jimmy Hoffa. But boy, your daddy got the meanest joke about OJ. Your daddy, if your daddy went down there and talked to the jury, they'd cut that boy loose. His daddy said publicly on worldwide television that OJ couldn't have killed them white folk. He loved white folk too much to be killing them. That's right. And then you're gonna say he killed two? No, that don't even make. But y'all got to listen. Jeffrey Dahmer, did y'all ever see him? Little frail white boy, little sissy. But yet and still we was told he went into a hardcore ghetto and ate up unemployed construction workers at will. And how you black folks went for that? Because you black men know when you be playing with your 14-year-old black sons, you have to every now and then let them know this is dad, because sometimes they forget and they will hurt you. So we knew from day one that something was going on in Milwaukee that didn't have nothing to do with cannibalism, and that boy would never live to get out of jail. So what happened? All at once, two men, both in jail for murder, which means they're not delicate men, is beat to death with a broom. Now, that's the first time I worried about y'all. When my mother get mad at me, when I was a little boy and she wanted to hit me or something, I go get her a broom. Because the one thing you can be guaranteed you ain't going to get hurt with is a broom. And they told us one morning when we woke up that Jeffrey Dahmer and a guy he was walking with was attacked by a black man that had a broom and beat both of them to death with a broom. Come on now. And so what do I have to do to... Did what there? Let go. He dead. You didn't know that? Huh? Well, I ain't getting into all that.
Well, you said they're playing games.
They are, but I'm just saying, I'm not getting into that. I'm saying what they feeding us. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about the fact that they can tell us that two people was killed with a broom. That's what I'm talking about. You know. I mean, when you look at this little girl, this little, Susan Smith, they say killed her two children, and they say a black man did it. Well, if you just, you knew something was wrong with that story when the story first broke. They said, AP, she said that this black man drove off with her babies, and the last thing she yelled, he was driving off to the babies, I love you. I knew she was lying, because if she said I love you, the brother would have thought she was talking to her and came back and got her. You serious? And then when the girl was talking on television to the babies, come on, mothers, you know if somebody kidnap your babies, you ain't gonna talk to the babies, you're gonna talk to the kidnappers. The babies don't have the power to do nothing. You talk to the kidnappers. She never talked to the kidnapper. She talked to the baby. But there was something wrong with that story from the beginning. When they released the picture of the black man, y'all see the picture? Had a ski cap on. Where you think you can buy a ski cap in South Carolina? Have you ever met anybody in your life that was on their way to South Carolina to go skiing? It is so hot in South Carolina, if you open up a business selling ski caps in South Carolina, you'd be bankrupt the third day. So I kept saying, wait a minute, that's the same ski cap that they gave me with the OJ. Well, let me tell you what's kind of strange about that case down there. That I'm surprised you black men didn't see through that one. You know damn good and well when a white woman tells the whole world that a black man kidnapped her babies, the white police will react so vicious by the time they find out she lying, it'd be 4 or 5 black folk dead. They didn't go upside one black brother's head. That's not normal. Unless they knew something. Now, where'd they find the babies? Huh? In the river, right? They'd been down there 6 times looking with magnets. Now, let me tell you something. If this is a river here, and I drive my car into this river, you don't have to look all over the river wherever I drove it in because of the weight and the water, it go right down there. How could they go in that river at that same point 6 times with magnet and never find that car till almost 2 weeks later? And nobody in the press is asking them serious questions. When it comes white folks' time to trick, nobody asks them serious questions. Somewhere I say to you, I look at this whole Rodney King piece out here. 6 weeks before them cops beat up Rodney King, a white judge has sent Rodney King to 8 years in jail. And 6 weeks later, he out in the street getting beat up, and not one white press have said, what was he doing out of jail 6 weeks later when a white judge have sentenced him to 8 years in jail? What is so vicious about what they did that the brother that was in the car with him is dead now? Yeah. Just like Joyce Elder, when they busted her son, the way they busted her son, they got a brother to lie on him. And right after the brother went and testified, they found him dead, called it suicide. Everybody in Little Rock said he was murdered. That's the games they play. And so I say to you that they programmed y'all for a ride. And y'all didn't even know y'all was being programmed. I drive down the street now and look at all these old silly ride signs y'all got up. Y'all ain't had no ride. How y'all have a ride when the police didn't come in? How y'all got a damn town burning down and every time I see a forest fire, they bring them helicopters in here and drop that water down. They ain't brought one helicopter and dropped no water on y'all's fire. And the little Korean woman that shot the little black girl in the back of the head. See, one thing y'all got to do is stop being emotional. Once you stop being emotional, you start seeing through stuff. If me and you, brother, have us a confectionery, right? You got that? And we got one of them cameras scanning, right? Who owns that camera? Me and you, right? So if a white girl come in our store and whether she right or wrong, I shoot her in the back of the head, all right? Whose film is that? Now, are we gonna be stupid enough to turn that over to the police? How come y'all ain't never questioned where that film came from? Who do you know is stupid enough to shoot somebody in the back of the head, get it on film, and then turn it over to the police? And I remember looking at it in New York, and I said to a friend of mine, why are we looking at this film? It is not normal for you to do something wrong, and it's on film, and it's your film, and you turn it over. The Bloods and the Crips. They're the baddest dudes in the world. One of y'all come up. Either one. Yeah. Y'all see this book here? It's called Conspiracy Hierarchy. What's it say? The what? The committee sent over here so you can get it on tape from it. Here. Right there. What's it say? I got to get something.
Heresy, Hierarchy, the story of the Committee of 300.
This is 300 people that run it all. Now, if you turn to the back, what's the back say?
By Dr. John Coleman, a former member of British M16.
Now, y'all hear that? Now, British M16 is equivalent to the CIA. That's British intelligence. This cat wrote the book and exposed it all, right? Now, turn the page. Y'all been reading about the Bloods and the Crips and how bad they're the Bloods and the Crips. Y'all know this. Hollywood will do 25 movies in this town at the same time. Y'all know that, right? And the Bloods and the Crips ain't never messed with one of them sets. But yet still, they got the whole world believing they the bad thing. I tell you what, you let a Blood or a Crip get close to a Hollywood set. If you know some of them, tell them I said, get close to a Hollywood script and they'll wipe them out tonight. Okay? I came here and did a movie last year. I didn't know how many movies they be doing all over town. You don't get bad enough to mess with a movie. Oh, you can kill one another. The Bloods and the Crips, let's see where they came from. What's that, page 86 for me, please.
Gang wars were carefully planned at Stanford.
Gang war, carefully planned at Stanford University. Now they got y'all believing that all this Bloods and Crips, they got the Bloods and the Crips believing they bad. Well, I tell you what, if y'all know some Bloods and some Crips, tell them they better get this crime bill that just came through. The one that just got passed. Cause in it, they is labeled as terrorist group. Okay, and you know what that means? I can gun you down on sight. All right? You know what that also means? That if you was in the presence of one, they can bust you for being in a meeting with a terrorist group. All right? That's why they did with nobody looking. With a congressional black caucus sitting up there. Slipped it through them. Now go ahead and finish that and show you what they do with gangs.
Deliberately designed to shock society and cause ripples of disturbances. By 1958, there were in excess of 200 of these gangs. They were made popular by a musical and a Hollywood movie, West Side Story.
All that was planned. West Side Story won the Academy Award. The play on Broadway won the Tony. They dramatized it to get it because they running tests. Okay? Go ahead.
After making the news for a decade, suddenly in 1966, they disappeared off the streets of New York, Los Angeles, Newark, New Jersey, Philadelphia, and Chicago.
They said, okay, let's get rid of them. Just to make sure we run it. Wipe them out. Get rid of them. Then what happened?
Throughout the near decade of gang violence, the public reacted according to the profiled response Stanford expected.
That's all. You don't need more. No, I'm not going to switch this. Hold it, say it, man. Listen to what I'm saying. All this is an experiment. This game, they learned it from Hitler. Hitler and them would do little things. Do y'all remember they talked about the brown shirts? Yeah. Those was the little gangs that was put together. Little cats would go around messing with Jews and stuff, and they act like nobody could. Same thing. So all at once now, they got Rodney King. Did you ever ask yourself, who is this white boy that caught that on film from Australia? How did he just happen? And what's his name? Where is he now? What's that game about? And then after that, they got found not guilty, the cops. The white woman that shot the sister in the back of the head got found guilty, but the judge put her on parole. And they told y'all mad enough to ride. And so the riot broke out. What newspaper is this here? I want y'all to hear this real good here in LA.
The New York Times National Sunday paper.
What date?
May 16th, 1992. May 10th, excuse me, 1992.
And what's this story say here? This is New York Times story. What's the headlines there?
Los Angeles police differ sharply with prosecutors on arrest totals.
Did y'all hear that? The police say we arrested X amount. The prosecutor said, well, that's strange. We didn't get them. Now listen to this here. Read the second paragraph. Second, yeah, right there.
Police officials said today that they had arrested 18,000 people.
Hold on 1 minute. Y'all hear that? They really arrested 18,213. They said we arrested 18,000 people. Y'all heard that, right? Now go back and read that again.
Police officials said today that they had arrested 18,000 people from Wednesday night, April 29th, the day the riots began, through this morning. But prosecutors said they could not account for as many as 10,000 of those people.
Now, I want y'all to hear this. Because I wonder, who are you all? Who are you black folks that live in LA that they have ripped off 10,000 black folks and y'all ain't missed them? 10,000. 10,000 black folks. Under the false pretense they had a riot. Under the false pretense that here's a black man that a white judge had sentenced 6 weeks before the whooping to 8 years in jail. He ends up out 6 weeks later. The brother in the car with him is dead. And now the New York Times said they arrested 18,000. But the prosecutor said they can't account for 10,000. But listen what else they say. Listen to the word they say. Listen to this here. Finish that paragraph for me.
We don't know where these people are, said James Cahan, the Los Angeles city attorney. It is a mystery to a lot of people in the system right now. Okay? They didn't just stop and say they missing. They said we don't know where they are. I mean, if y'all say y'all arrested 18,313 and all we got is 8, what happened to the 10,000? The 10,000 never went to jail. They was put on troop trains and shipped to a little town called Coos Bay, Oregon, where they got a merchant marine hospital where they took their body parts. That's what it's about. And how you all done got so ungodly and so unspiritual that a bunch of evil-ass white folks invent the Bloods and the Crips and then blame that on you and then come in and rip off 10,000 black men and steal their organs. And y'all don't feel nothing. And then they got y'all talking about black on black crime. Well, do y'all know that 98% of all white folks that got murdered last year in America was killed by white folks? Have you heard white folks talking about white on white crime? If we go to China tonight, who you think killing Chinese in China? Who you think killing Italians in Italy? So why is it odd that black folk killing black folk and they got you running around talking about black on black crime? What's that about? Now I want to ask you a question. If you had to make some illegal money, now don't get all moral on me now, we just playing. If you had to make some illegal money fast, what's the fastest way to make illegal money on this planet? What's the number one way? Huh? Come on, I hear you. Drugs. All right, let me tell you. Selling illegal drugs is the third most profitable way to make illegal money. The number 2 most profitable is dumping nuclear waste, and the number 1 most profitable is organs. Organs! The number 1 most illegal money is made on organ transplants, and in order to transplant them, you got to steal them. The number 2 is dumping nuclear waste. That's what we were doing in Somalia. That's right. We didn't go to Somalia with an army to make black folks who we don't like eat our food. We went over there to dump nuclear waste. That's why them black and white soldiers is coming back home breaking out all over their body with strange diseases.
They thought being soldiers, they was just carrying military equipment. They was carrying nuclear waste. And that's what we're doing in Haiti today. And that's why we will never leave Haiti. Because the number one way to make money is dumping what? Now let me tell you one of the best ways they dump it in America. Y'all ever see these freight trains? You ever see them at night? You ever see these freight trains that had these like milk trains on them? They had the little containers that, you know, carry liquid. Next time you see a freight train at night, look and see how many of those you see. That's where they put the nuclear waste in them trucks, in them little containers, and at nighttime, when they get in black areas, they open up them valves and dump that stuff in the track. Then when it dries, it gets airborne, and then it blows into your house. That's what's going on. Okay? So now what's the number one way of making money? And every time you hear about a drive-by shooting, you notice there's no witnesses. The sister said, why? 98% of drive-by shooting deaths, they shot in what part of the body? Anybody know? The head. The head. Y'all hear that? Did you hear that? In the head, right? Now. See that sister? Raise your hand, sister, for me for a minute. Raise your hand right there. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. See her? If she's back there and I'm running at her to hurt her and she got a gun, from here, is it easier for her to shoot me in my body, shoot me in her head? In the body, right? Because in order to shoot in the head, what do you have to do with your hand? Aim. And come on now, what else? The hand have to be what? Because you can't shoot me in the head if your hand is what? Do you know anybody can get in a car that's moving and their hand be steady? So how can they tell you that a drive-by shooting out of a car got you in the head? And if you notice, about 97% of the drive-by shootings and those deaths in the ghetto, they're not solved. Now, if you just talking about some little jitterbug brothers, high school dropouts, most of them can't read right, is murdering folks and baffling homicide cops. Some of them been in homicide 50 years. Come on, give me a break. What's your name, sister? What's your name?
Mary.
Mary. I'm your son, okay? I get murdered today. You come down to homicide. You go to the morgue. You identify me, right? You know you can't take the body, right? Y'all know that, right? Because the body belongs to who? Because they have to have what? And autopsy is the case. Autopsy is an investigation, right? So now when they finally release my body and you see my body's all cut up, you assume they was doing the research. Never dawned you they was taking my organs. And when they get through taking my organs, what they took out of me is worth $2.5 million. And you black folk running around with your dashikis, and I ain't got no problem with that, and all your outfits and touch hair, and these crackers is coming in, stealing your children's organ, and you niggas running around thinking y'all hip. Give me a break.